Hey, do you guys like to watch a lot of movies, TV shows that they put out these days? I think there's some really good stuff. There's some really good quality movies, but the more you watch and listen, you can pick up on some themes, some philosophies, some direction, or some things people are trying to promote that are not what they say they are. Do you buy what the media is selling? Do you buy the philosophy if you live a certain way, you're going to have some fulfilled life? Can you find fulfillment in a life of ease? Can you find fulfillment in drugs or alcohol or women, sex, porn? Uh, does that bring you what they say it brings? You know, the endless vacations or the theme parks and the sporting events, being a spectator in sporting events, spending hours and hours and hours on a Saturday, Sunday, Monday watching football and all these other programs. Does it give you what you think it will give you? Well, I think if you're honest with yourself, uh, you realize it doesn't give you, you're being sold lies. It doesn't give you what you think it gives you. It doesn't give you joy, happiness, fulfillment in life. It gives you a short-term sense of pleasure, but none of it is lasting. You know, as God turns up the heat in this country and all over the world, things are going to get more and more difficult. I'm sure you can tell already, things are difficult. We're paying more and more for everything that we buy, and we get less. We get less benefit. We pay more and more taxes, and we get less services. We pay more for food and more for services, and we get less. Boxes of cereal are shrinking. Uh, all of that stuff is just getting worse and worse. It's going to get harder and harder to provide for yourself. You need tools to bring you more joy, happiness, and peace. It doesn't come through more stuff. It doesn't come from what you're trying to be sold by. Hey, I'm famous. I'm in all these movies. Listen to what I tell you is best in your life. Because if you look at all of those celebrities, most of their personal lives are a total disaster. So, is that someone you want to listen to? I think we've just come out of a pandemic that we had that we all realized that things are very fragile. Supply chains are very fragile. Life is very fragile. The things that we used to value, we saw as those things got shut down that they can be removed from your life. So, what do you need to put into your life that brings you long-term peace and happiness? Is it the soccer games, the football games, uh, the hockey, and all of that? Is that what brings long-term happiness? Eventually the game ends. Eventually the movie is over. Eventually the high, you come down from the high. Eventually that pleasurable activity, whatever, ends, and then you're left with what do I do now? So focus on the pillars in your life that will be there forever. Focus on the Lord, focus on God. What is He doing? What does He do to find happiness and joy? What's an example we can use from Jesus when He lived? What did He spend all of His time doing? Did He hang around the football stadiums if they had them, the baseball stadiums, to the movie theaters, the cruise ships? Or did He spend all of His time preaching tools to try to help people to become better, to have a more abundant life, to live with a greater sense of peace and happiness and joy? I interviewed a guy a couple days ago, and he had spent more than 40 years in a profession. He's a CPA. I'd recommend watching it. He has a lot of great things to say. But I asked him where he found peace and happiness and joy. He found it in helping other people. He found it by giving good, solid tax advice, saving people money. He found it in helping people plan financially for the future to become more financially independent. So likewise, and he couldn't have given that good, helpful advice unless he excelled and improved himself and became a source of knowledge of tax law, knowledge of good financial planning. So that's where the long-term joy, happiness, peace are at, is helping, improving yourself, becoming the best that you know how, and then helping other people make better choices and do better things. Don't buy what the media is selling. It's short term. Focus on the long term pillars in your life that will bring you joy, peace, happiness.